eBay Motors is here for the ride. Remember when you first saw the potential? And then, through some elbow grease, fresh installs, and a whole lot of love, you transformed 100,000 miles and a body full of rust into a drive that's all your own. There's nothing else that sounds like, feels like, or looks like this set of wheels in your garage. And with over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly, so there's no limit to how far you can take it. Brake kits, turbochargers, engines, exhaust kits, roof racks, LED lights, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, well, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Would you like to own a home? Colorado Housing and Finance Authority can help. CHFA sponsors homebuyer education in English and Spanish to help you move forward with confidence in your purchase. Now, once you're ready, CHFA provides home loans, grants, and second mortgage loans for down payment and closing cost assistance. CHFA, celebrating 50 years of strengthening Colorado by investing in affordable housing and community development. Learn more at chfainfo.com/yourhome.
Jose is twitching.
Why are you twitching, bud?
Jose, why are you twitching? You're listening to The Dollop. This is a bi-weekly, semi-weekly, twice a thing, American History podcast.
Terrible.
Each week, a couple times, I read a story to my friend.
Riff. Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is about.
He doesn't. It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. I don't know what it's about to be.
It's a mystery.
Yep.
God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny.
Not Gary Gareth. Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the tickling podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
No.
October 6, 1973.
Ooh, all right. Disco, Bee Gees, love it.
A coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel.
Oh, boy.
The fighting mostly took place in the Sinai and Golan Heights, territories that had been occupied by Israel since the Six-Day War in 1967.
Just like God said.
Exactly. 6 days into the fighting, the U.S. began to airlift weapons to Israel. That did not sit well with the Arab OPEC countries.
Why?
OPEC had been created in 1960 to resist pressure from Western oil companies to reduce prices.
Sorry, one more time? Say that again?
OPEC had been created in 1960 to resist pressure from Western oil companies to reduce prices.
Okay, gotcha.
And one of those big things was, of course, the Texas Railroad Commission.
Okay.
And by 1970, OPEC had started using their power in politics. They raised the price of oil based on what? Us giving weapons to Israel. 70%.
Well, if you're us, come on.
Nixon gave Israel $2.2 billion in emergency aid. OPEC was infuriated. All the Arab oil-producing countries announced they would embargo oil shipments to the U.S., as well as Canada, Japan, the Netherlands, and the U.K. Prices of oil went from $3 a barrel to $12 a barrel. They said they would cut oil production 5% each month until their economic and political objectives were met. Shit was on. Jose is looking at the window, meowing. U.S. gas prices went from 38 cents in May 1973 to 55 cents in June 1974. Can you fucking believe that? How did they live? Now, to be fair, obviously 55 cents doesn't sound like a lot.
It's nothing.
But it was an increase of 387% from the previous year.
Well, my little brain can handle that fact. Now I see the plight.
States asked people not to put up Christmas lights.
You know,
Or
that's the origins of the war on Christmas.
this is the war on Christmas.
Yeah.
This is what this whole one is about, the war on Christmas.
Fucking
Oregon banned Christmas lights.
strong.
Yeah, seriously strong. Nixon asked gas stations not to sell gas on Saturday nights and all day Sunday. Many gas stations only sold to regular customers.
What? Why?
There's no gas.
But the Saturday Sunday thing. What is that? Why?
I don't know.
Okay, because that doesn't seem to really do anything.
Huge gas lines became the norm. People waited for an hour or more in gas lines that could be miles long. In New Jersey, lines were 4 miles long. Fucking Jersey.
You got to burn a lot of gas waiting in that fucking line,
Right?
too, right? Like
That's what I always thought about.
You can't wait until you're in the orange part,
Right.
like, and go get gas. Like half a tank, you're like, well, we better fucking be safe.
You get gas, and then you go to the back of the line to get more gas.
Yeah.
People got into fistfights in the lines.
That's cool. Now, see, that I like.
Fred Norris owned a gas station in Vermont. He said, quote, "It was a mess. I had people threatening to whoop me." How can I not put that in?
Yeah. I'm going to whoop him.
Gas started to run out. By December 1973, signs of no gas started appearing in front of gas stations. The American Automobile
Which just makes them stations.
Right. Then they're just a place to get peanuts.
Yeah. Not as efficient.
The American Automobile Association recorded that up to 20% of the country's gas stations had no fuel 1 week during the crisis. People could only buy gas on alternative days, depending upon whether the license plate ended with an odd or even number.
What?
Yeah. And you could only pump about $3 to $5 worth of gas.
What if you had a vanity plate?
That's a good question. I wonder if they had them back then.
They had to.
Well,
if not,
It's-
let's do a dollop on when the vanity plate started at some point. Who's the psycho who was like, just because you can personalize it a little bit. Be cool.
The federal...
Dentist won.
Oh, God, Dennis won. Fuck. The federal government even printed gas rationing coupons, but they were never actually used. Congress issued a 55-mile-per-hour speed limit on highways.
Okay.
It's the beginning of that.
That's when that started?
Yeah.
Before then, no speed limits?
I don't know what, but...
Just best judgment?
Best judgment, baby. He's eating your backpack.
Yep.
Daylight savings time was issued year-round to reduce the use of electricity. That's going to sound good. Did you want to rub that just across the table? Or?
I'm thinking about my backpack. Say that again, sorry.
Daylight savings time was now year-round.
What?
Daylight savings time. So
Every day you had
use
to set your
less.
clock back an hour?
No.
That gets old.
I'm going to move on. Nixon formed the Energy Department, and it developed a national energy policy. Okay. So, Americans had to change the way they lived, and that meant smaller cars. In 1973, Japan was producing small cars that were vastly superior to the small American car makers were making. The Japanese had already been prepared for the gas shortage, and the American car companies were not. So pretty much overnight, America stopped looking to buy Detroit's specialty, the gas guzzler, and shifted to small, gas-saving foreign cars.
Okay, right.
The American companies tried to crank out cars like the Chevy Vegas,
The Chevy Vegas?
AMC Gremlin, and Ford Pintos.
I was going to say, I thought the Pinto was a reaction to this.
But they sucked, and some of them exploded on contact.
The Chevy Vegas?
Yeah. What about the AMC Gremlin? How do you just let that? Like, that's a crazy name for a car.
I've
It's
heard
a
of the Gremlin. I've heard of the. I mean, you look. You know the deal with the Gremlin. You can't get it washed after midnight. You can't feed it gas.
It's not Vegas. The fucking that's word.
Oh.
That's word correct. It's what was it? Chevy
Cutlass.
Yep. Let's go with that.
Great. So the Gremlin is a crazy name.
Yeah. That meant
because this is before Gremlins.
Actual Gremlins? I don't think we have. Oh, the movie Gremlins.
Yeah. If there were actual Gremlins, don't even.
You know, you could never put water on that car, right?
That's what I'm saying. You couldn't put water on that car, and you can't feed it gas after midnight.
Yeah.
And there's one other rule.
Yeah.
You can't.
Don't look it in the eyes.
That's it. Don't make a sequel. That's what it was.
So people stopped buying American cars. But they still wanted American cars. They wanted America to create a fucking car. Right? Then one woman came forth who said she had the answer to America's car problem. It was a revolutionary, three-wheeled automobile.
Oh, God.
Called the Dale.
Ugh.
Mrs. G. Elizabeth Carmichael was living in California. She was a mother of 5, and she was going to change the automobile industry with the Dale. It was made out of what seemed like fiberglass, but Carmichael called it Reardon metal.
And fiberglass being called metal.
Well, no, it's not. It looked like fiberglass, but it's a different kind of material.
All right.
And the windows were made of Rigidex.
Sure.
Which had 70 times the impact resistance of safety glass.
Okay.
It had one wheel in the back and 2 in the front and can reach speeds up to 85 miles per hour.
Just the description, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah. And thankfully, Reardon metal could sustain an impact against a brick wall at 50 miles an hour.
Okay.
Reardon metal was no joke. According to Carmichael, Reardon metal was, quote, ounce for ounce, the strongest material known. Sledgehammer force won't dent or shatter the body.
You better not be leading me on a path where I'm going to want one of these cars.
We'll see.
Okay.
But, it's good that most cars should be sledgehammer resistant.
Yeah, for sure.
The front bumpers...
Gallagher proof.
The front bumpers were made of high-density urethane foam. The car could also go 70 miles on just 1 gallon of gas. The price... under $2,000.
What?
Yeah.
What?
The 20th Century Motors Corporation was the company building the car.
Okay.
Now, if you haven't heard of 20th Century Motors Corporation, I'll assume
I
it's
haven't.
because you don't read Ayn Rand.
Oh, God. Well, that's a fair assumption.
In Atlas Shrugged, which is a libertarian jerk-off fiction work, John Galt works for the auto manufacturer in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
The owner dies and leaves his company to his children, and his daughter convinces all the employees into voting to collectivize the company. Quote, the plan was that everybody in the factory would work according to his ability, but would be paid according to his need. Naturally, because this is a libertarian tale, the company quickly goes bankrupt.
Right.
So why not name your car company after that?
Perfect, yeah. Quite an homage.
Yep. The car was also touted as having no wires.
Now, forgive me.
Go.
Wires seem to have had a positive effect on the automobile.
Well, yeah, maybe it'd be better without wires.
That's not a good point back.
You don't think that's a good selling point? If someone's like, wait, now we finally have what you've wanted all along, a car without wires.
Wireless.
A wireless car.
We are having wireless cars now, but it has a different meaning. But you need wires because of many things.
Do you need wires?
I'm going to go ahead and say you do need wires.
Nope. It had a printed circuit dashboard instead.
I didn't know that. You don't need it if you have a printed circuit dashboard.
The material, the framework of the car was made from, claimed to be, I already did that. Okay, so they basically described the Dale as indestructible, right?
Okay.
Liz also said it was scratch-proof, burglar-proof, and bulletproof.
I mean, lead with bulletproof, obviously.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be the first
That's
thing
the
I'd say.
first one. Burglar-proof?
Liz said she had personally driven into a brick wall at 30 miles per hour and walked away unscathed.
Well, you want someone who's willing to just do testing like that at the helm.
And hit the wall.
Yeah.
Hit it hard.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Reardon metal can do.
Listen, that's faith in your product.
You know what I'm talking
Now, you
about.
run at 30 miles an hour into a burglar with a gun, and you walk away?
Hello.
I'm buying.
The Dale.
Thank you.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But Elizabeth Carmichael herself was a mystery. She seemed to have just come from out of nowhere. She said she was the daughter of a farmer, and she had grown up tinkering with tractors and farm trucks from the day she could hold a wrench.
So that's about age 2, I'd guess.
Liz, she said that if a farmer didn't have a boy, they would turn their girl into a boy. You know what I'm saying?
Don't wink.
Liz then went on to get a degree in mechanical engineering at Ohio State University and then a master's in business administration from the University of Miami in Florida.
Okay.
She'd like to be called Liz.
Cool.
Liz was a widow with 5 kids. Her husband, Jim Carmichael, had been a structural engineer for NASA working on the space shuttle program. He had come up with a car design before he died and then she incorporated the company in Nevada and was now opening other offices in Dallas and near Los Angeles.
Okay.
A full-scale model was on display in Encino, California, in the office there.
Okay.
Encino.
Yeah? What?
Liz offered security and stock options to investors. But the California Securities Commission put the kibosh on selling stock. It turns out the company did not have a license to sell stock in the state.
Okay.
So
that doesn't...
problem.
It just doesn't sound like it's on the up and up.
What are you talking about?
It doesn't sound like it's on the up and up.
You can hit it in a brick wall going 30 or 50
right,
or whatever.
still, there's some...
And it's bulletproof.
Right.
And 3 wheels. 70 miles on a tank.
I'm starting to worry about this automobile.
It didn't stop Liz. She kept pushing the car in the media and taking orders for the car from interested customers. This is exactly what America was looking for. With each order, customer had to put down a deposit.
This is such a scam.
What?
She's just the fucking scammer. The
car would be delivered in the fall of 1975. And Liz could sell. She was rather charismatic and very large. She stood 6 feet tall and weighed 200 pounds.
Alrighty. Well, I would be like, sure, yes.
It's a big lady.
Yes.
Liz was a good speaker and knew how to persuade people into giving. She built a few prototypes. One of them was capable of driving, and another non-functioning one was brought to the 1975 Los Angeles Auto Show.
Well, it shouldn't be at an auto show because it's just the shell.
Yeah, but sometimes they do that. They go, this is what the car of the future is going to look like, and then they put that up there.
Okay.
Liz also sold dealerships on the car, all without a manufacturer's license.
So, wait, this is not going in the right order.
It's all fine.
No. You have one functioning car, and now you have dealerships?
Well, she's setting them up, yeah.
A little premature, right?
Well, no, everything's getting ready.
A little premature.
Everything's getting ready.
Little premature.
For the big...
It's like franchising a restaurant before you've cooked a burger.
You want a launch. You want a big launch.
Agreed, but...
And launch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you need a rocket
well, I mean...
to launch.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well,
That's you. It's your
that's not semantics. This is real.
In 1974 in Texas, Dale had the first prototype built. It was taken out for a test drive. Then they took it apart to look for any problems. Engineer John McGinnis worked on the Dale and said it was the real deal. He had also
the real Dale. Come on.
He'd also come from NASA.
So, okay.
Like her husband.
Yeah.
He returned some of his salary when finances became a problem and 20th car company needed some cash. He just wanted to keep the Dale alive as a possibility.
Okay.
So that's, the people believe in it. The people working on it believe in this car. Why can't you?
Okay. I'm suspicious.
And the media did jump on the story of the amazing car. People magazine wrote an article on Liz and what she thought would happen with her car of the future. Trade magazines all over the world wrote up articles about the amazing new car and other cars the 20th Century Motor Car Company was planning, like the Vanagon.
The Vanagon?
A 3-wheeled van.
The Vanagon.
The Vanagon.
It sounds like a curse.
It's a 3-wheeled van.
A 3-wheeled van?
A van again.
Just when you thought like a 3-wheeled car couldn't sound any dumber, you made it a van.
Fits
A
8.
3-wheeled, and it's 2 wheels up front and 1 in the back.
Fits 8 people comfortably.
What the fuck? I see this.
Who doesn't want a 3-wheeled van?
I think
It's
people
the future.
I see tipping.
You know
I see
what,
a lot
this car
of tipping.
needs less wheels.
I don't know. I'm starting to worry about the wheel factor now.
Come on. It's like you've never driven a 3-wheeled car.
I've never driven a 3-wheeled car.
fucking car.
The only time I've done that is when I've had a flat.
In January 1975, one of the company's salesmen, William D. Miller, was found murdered in the Encino office. He had been shot 4 times in the head.
Could have been an accident.
Yep. Police quickly zeroed in on a suspect who happened to be a fellow employee named Jack Oliver.
Okay.
It was then discovered Oliver and Miller knew each other from their time together in San Quentin prison.
This is not good.
What do you mean?
The facts are starting to leak out a little bit now. So these two ex-convicts. Right. I want to buy their car.
Now, the local LA media was on the trail. They started looking into Liz, the car company, and the car itself. They all realized something was amiss.
Really, David?
Fraud investigators started looking into whether or not the Dale was actually being planned for production. Television reporters were doing stories, and newspapers began printing articles about whether or not the Dale was a viable car.
Okay.
This caused all the investors and customers who had put down deposits to become a bit worried.
Why?
They barraged the company with phone calls, and then the phones were disconnected.
That's how you deal with it.
Hey, we're getting a lot of calls. Go ahead and shut
Getting a lot of complaints.
Go ahead and shut down.
Yeah, cut the cord.
Just shut down.
Let's make the building wireless too.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, then they closed the Encino office.
Yeah, okay. I'm shocked at these turns.
Liz took off for Texas, and there she set up the company again, renaming the Dale the Revette.
She's like the monorail salesman from The Simpsons. She's off to Shelbyville.
Even though the car looked exactly the same, and even with the law investigating, she just pushed full bore ahead.
Good. What was the new one called? The Irvit?
The Rivet.
Rivet?
Revette?
Sure.
Revette. She promoted the Revette the same as she did the Dale. In spring 1975, she got it on The Price is Right in a showcase showdown.
Oh, my God. What? How the fuck does that even happen? How? What?
I don't know.
What a man to hear like Rod Roddy be like, and a weird car.
But the contestant couldn't guess the car's price.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
She was like, it looks like it fell from space.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
$1. No, wait, $1 million.
But the end was near. An engineer who worked on the Vanagon, the three-wheeled station wagon, or van, I mean, became a whistleblower and testified that the company could not actually produce a car, and the California Superior Court ordered an injunction. So, no more selling of anything. The San Gabriel Union described Liz as a 6-foot-tall, tough-talking widow who had never disclosed her maiden name. At this point, the California Corporation Commission didn't know how many people had invested, but one investigator said, I'm afraid a lot of people are going to lose a hell of a lot of money.
It's amazing to have a pyramid scheme and a pyramid car.
Turns out the amount of money she had hauled in was $30 million.
Oh, sweet bastard. She's great.
Bill Hall, an investigator for the California Department of Motor Vehicles, went poking around, looking at the warehouses where Liz said the cars were being built.
Yeah, they're right behind these doors, boys.
Just go ahead and go on in there.
Wall-to-wall, three-wheeled beauties.
Quote, I went to this airport. Upon entering, I discovered the hangars were absolutely empty. No tools, no machinery, nothing but a little dirt on the floor.
That's because they're invisible now.
Right now, they're in there cloaked.
I've got them in their cloaks.
They had rented this for only 1 month, and now the rent had expired, so they actually did not have a factory that they were representing that they had.
So their fake factory shut down?
Yeah, the not real factory.
The pretend factory.
Yeah, so they bought a place to say they had a factory, but they weren't
couldn't
doing anything.
even keep their imaginary factory open.
No, the fake factory closed.
Right.
At that point, LA County DA had enough evidence to make an arrest on grand theft charges.
Grand theft sorta auto.
For all the money they were taking from people.
Okay, so right.
The company record showed a lot of cash transactions, but Liz could smell it, and she bolted from her home with dinner on the table and left, quote, a device used by female impersonators to disguise their sex.
She left a dick on the dinner table?
That's what I thought when I read that.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Wait, how weird is this about to get?
I don't know. Weird?
Is it about to get real weird?
Yeah.
Are we about to find out that this linebacker lady is her dead fucking husband?
Bill Hall then went to the Dale Research and Development Lab armed with
It looks like they were eating dick for dinner, sir.
Oh, my God, there's a dick on the table. Quote, on inspection of this vehicle, it was not a viable vehicle at all. It had no engine. 2x4s were holding up the rear wheel. The accelerator was just sitting on the floor. It wasn't even attached. The windows were not safety glass. They would just bend back and forth. The doors were put on by regular door hinges, like one might find on a house door.
Door hinges?
On a house door.
It's just not what you need.
The vehicle just absolutely did not exist. Liz wasn't on the lam long. In April 1975, Elizabeth Carmichael was taken into custody. The case dragged on for a couple of years. While it was moving through the courts, it was revealed Geraldine Elizabeth Carmichael was an alias. Liz was born as Jerry Dean Michael.
Get the fuck out.
Which is a guy's name.
Yeah.
Liz was a man, but began dressing as a woman after becoming a fugitive when federal authorities came after him on counterfeiting charges in 1961.
So you just counterfeit your genitals. That's the next move.
That's the thing. Fake genitals.
Wow.
And it turned out he enjoyed being a woman, and now he was a she.
Oh, my God. What is, I mean, if you gave money to this car company, you're like, I'm not telling anyone.
And in the trial, it was also revealed the car was not as described. The bumpers were made of black vinyl covered pieces of wood. The frame was just square tubing. The body was fiberglass. The body of the only running model was chipped and scratched. Inside was a 2-cylinder motor, which turned out to be taken from a BMW motorcycle.
That's going to make costs go through the roof.
But somehow there were a bunch of engineers like John McGinnis who believed in the car so much they gave up part of their salaries to continue working on it.
It's like Scientology of cars.
So fucked up. That guy couldn't have been real.
So
right?
wait, real quick, just to go back, the apparatus was just like underwears that would just like sleeve the cock or something?
I think so.
What?
I don't know.
Why just leave it on the table?
I don't get any of that.
That's such a great move. I mean, when you find those, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Cars aren't cars. Women are men.
We got a bigger problem in the car, gentlemen. We have a dick on the table.
We got a dick out here.
Eventually, the case went to trial, and Liz was found guilty, or Liz was found guilty on 29 counts of grand theft, 3 counts of corporate security fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy. She was given 2 consecutive sentences of 10 years and a $30,000 fine. She filed an appeal and then jumped bail.
Oh, wow.
And was gone.
Well, what?
In 1989.
Oh, snap, David.
14 years later, the NBC show Unsolved Mysteries ran a story about the Dale and Elizabeth Carmichael.
God, to see that reenactment.
Oh, fuck.
Ugh.
That show led to tips from all over the country, which led to authorities finding her location. She was selling flowers on the side of the road in Texas.
Oh, my God.
Actually, she wasn't selling them. She would buy them wholesale, and then she had her 5 kids out in the road selling them.
Smart. Outsource.
Her 5 kids, it was learned, she had when she was married to Vivian Barrett. Well, she didn't have them because she was a man.
Because it hurts to push a baby out of your penis.
Vivian had the babies.
Right.
And then while Vivian worked with Liz at 20th Car Company, right? Liz would always introduce Vivian as her secretary. Vivian then died just before all the legal trouble started with the 20th Car Company.
From what?
Although Vivian was actually named in the criminal indictments. I couldn't figure out what she died of.
Poison.
So Liz was found living just outside of Austin, Texas because of this Unsolved Mysteries thing. She was using the name Catherine Elizabeth Brown, and the town she was living in was named Dale.
Oh, God.
So she took the name of the car from the town, and she changed her last name from Michael to Carmichael.
It literally just added car?
And then...
I'm going to make a car. I'm Carmichael. Just car fraud all over this.
It's fucking amazing. She told People magazine that she had had a sex change. Liz was extradited to Los Angeles and served 10 years in prison.
How is she still serving 10 years after all this? They're like, 10 years. We finally caught up with you.
It's just... In 1989, the Dale prototype was bought by Gordon Chamberlain of Glendale, California. The Dale was just made up of parts of other cars. There was parts of BMWs, Chevrolets, AMCs, Fords. They were all in there. And the Dale can now be seen at the Peterson Automobile Museum in Los Angeles. I saw it, and I didn't know what it was at the time.
I think that's how everyone felt.
I was like, just look at this fucking thing.
It's stupid.
Ridiculous. Today, Liz is out of prison and is running a successful roadside flower selling business in Austin, Texas.
What? So we could just go buy flowers from Herm?
Because it's fucking batshit crazy.
But so the disguise of being a woman eventually became her preferential gender.
Yes. So
and now she has had a sex change.
Well, it sounds like, okay, so he was charged with counterfeiting and then decided to change his identity, probably already with yearnings to be a woman.
Right.
So just switched and then was a woman. But his wife stayed with him.
Right.
And so then they were together.
As a secretary boss.
Female tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she came up with all this shit about this car, which was never going to. Scams like this, I'm always like, it's not going to go on very long. Like it's so.
What's your end game?
It was so public.
Your Enron.
There is no end game.
Yeah.
You're going to be fucked at the end of it.
Yes.
Like there's no way.
Well, because you're not putting any work into it. The
No.
whole thing is a scam. You can't even keep your fake factory doors open for a little while.
I mean, the fact that they had hinges from actual doors that you find in your house.
It's like the Danish girl with a fiberglass car. Tell you what, though, I'd sign that fucking car.
We're signing cars.
Calling on Gareth Force. This is Gareth, part of the bad boys of this podcast. Listen, go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information about these shows I'm about to mention. Also, go follow me on Instagram or any of that stuff at Reynolds Gareth. But I'm going on the road. I will be in Greenwood Village, Colorado, September 12th through the 14th at Comedy Works. San Diego, September 18th. Bakersfield, September 20th. Manchester, Connecticut, September 24th. Albany, New York, September 25th. Syracuse, New York, September 26th. Ontario, California, October 2nd. Tempe, Arizona, October 3rd. I'll be at Helium in Portland, November 1st through the 3rd. Then I will be in Eugene, Oregon, November 4th, and Bend, Oregon, November 5th. 2 shows, November 6th in Seattle. One of them is close to selling out or sold out, so we added a second. November 7th, I'll be in Vancouver, British Columbia. Then you can see me on New Year's Eve in Austin, Texas at the Great Cap City Comedy. Like I said, that's New Year's Eve. Go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information. Be part of the Gareth Force. At Reynolds Gareth, GarethReynolds.com. That's where you can get all your stuff. Gareth Force, join me. Love you. Marry me.
Hey, it's Rick Lewis here. If you suffered from hail damage or wind damage recently in Aurora, Centennial, Parker, Denver, Thornton, Commerce City, you need to get a hold of my guys at Advanced Exteriors. These guys are locally owned and operated. They can help you out. I stand by these guys. They do a great job. They've been around for a long time. Go to advancedexteriors.com or call them 303-756-7663.